tell you, there's such a difference between a MAGA guy and corn pop. But I want to go back to the spirit of the Declaration of Independence. And I bring this up because I'm one of those people, if you don't tell the whole story, don't worry, I'm not going to read the Declaration of Independence in its entirety. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, no, we've got other things to get to, including your call. But I'm one of those people that I listen to the news and I get so frustrated when people in the news or even in academia cherry pick things. Because I think truth is important, I think all the facts are important, and I think that is what really moves this country forward. Being open to comment, reflecting on it. I think we should reflect on things. I don't think we should dwell on things. I think there should be justice. I don't think there should be vengeance. I think once people understand mistakes and correction, we can move on and be together in our coalition.
Boom!
Okay. But that said, I want to know.
There you go. There you go.
So I get it. And I get that.
Hating gives you wrinkles, people. Liberals are crying all over the place. Oh my God, the liberals. Liberals keep crying. Yeah, hot first lady. Come on, bro. You can't compare that to Joe Biden or that tranny, Michael Obama. Come on, man. How people can say that Michael Obama was a great first lady? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Not even fucking close. Can't compare that to Michael Obama or Joe Biden, please.
Without representation, which is true. Note to self, that's kind of going on now. I didn't say that. And the Declaration was therefore ultimately about democracy. That's what they try to convince people.
Most beautiful first lady since Jacqueline Onassis. Come on, you can't compare that to Michelle Obama. You can't compare her to Michelle Obama. People gotta be smoking crack when they post stuff like that. Oh, she was a pretty first lady. No, she wasn't. That's a dude, bro. That is a dude. People don't know that. They don't understand that. We already had our first gay president. It was Obama. Obama is married to a tranny, and people don't know that. People think it's a joke. Yeah, compare. Look at how beautiful she is. You can't compare that to Joe Biden. Are you kidding me? She's the most beautiful first lady since Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy. Since JFK's wife. And JFK's wife wasn't all that hot. She was okay. She wasn't, she wasn't a model. Yeah, happy 4th of July, child. So I just got in. I was in the backyard. I lit a bunch of fireworks. I did some cooking. I didn't get to use the grill because I forgot to get charcoal. So I was like, forget it. So I cooked a bunch of stuff on the air fryer. Of course, they're blowing fireworks outside right now around my neighborhood. Yeah, I'm just relaxing now. I got the AC on. I just cracked my first beer. Drinking some Bud Light Lime. Cheers. Just relaxing for the rest of the evening. Just gonna let it roll on.
Care begins with a conversation. where your genetic history is rewriting your future, and where we are redefining cardiac, cancer, and orthopedic care with world-class partners.
Just gonna let it roll here. 95. I'm trying to get the viewing hours up. I got a long way to go for this one, for viewing hours. A couple of weeks ago, I was at 170. Now I'm at 210. I got a long way to go on this channel. But I'm going to start simulcasting on this channel and Danny Sherwood at the same time when I do live streams over there. Probably next few weeks, I'll start doing simulcasts. So I'm going to let it roll here tonight. I'm going to be on for a couple of hours maybe. Let's see. Let's see how many people come in here and talk and chat. I'm just relaxing, chilling. Yep, like you said, we're chilling. We also shot some fireworks. Cool. Yeah, she is a beautiful first lady. My sister-in-law invited us out there. They're having a party out there. So she had called my wife, and my wife asked my son if he wants to go. He said, no, I want to stay home. So otherwise, we were this close to going to New Jersey. I didn't really want to go anyway. I wanted to stay home. Later on, late tonight, I'll probably go back out in my backyard. I'm going to take my radio out there. Maybe later on. I don't know. I'm cooling off in here first. I ate some ribs, hot dogs, hamburgers, a cheeseburger, excuse me. Some Greek salad. Seasoned fries. What else? I have some enchilada. I have some. I didn't get to cook the chicken, but I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll cook tomorrow also. So it's all good. There you go. I didn't say that. Yeah. I didn't cook a lot because my wife had to go to work and she did. So when she got home, she brought some food also. But oh yeah, ice cream too. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta treat yourself. Yeah, treat yourself once in a while. It's okay. She is stunning. She is stunning. Wow. CA. CA. So now they're looping it now. All right, that's pretty cool. this a year ago. Remember a year ago when it was Joe Biden and Hunter was in the background sniffling. What a contrast. Remember they had cocaine in the White House and all that? What a contrast compared to last year. I need to go back to DC. I haven't been in DC in a while. I visited that. I remember visiting the Washington Memorial. I went to Washington. I remember all the Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam War Memorial. The White House at that time, we couldn't get close because they barricaded all the streets. Because we went there after 9/11, and they had all that. They had the whole White House area locked down. They had had another fence over the whole area. They had barricades. You couldn't get near the White House to take a picture. Back in, I think it was like 2000. It was after 9/11. Yeah, I remember. My friend, the one, my so-called friend at the time. So we went down to DC, and then we went to the. No, this is back in 2002. This is 2002. Because last year we went to Virginia. We passed through DC. But going to DC and looking at all that, that was like almost 25 years ago. A friend of mine, he drove down. I was with him and he drove down there, and we spent the whole day down there. So I took pictures of all that. That Washington Monument is tall. It's like, I forgot how many. It's like 300 feet tall. It's tall though. I remember that. It was very tall. But the White House, at that time, you couldn't get near it. It was on lockdown. That whole street around the White House was closed. No one was allowed to walk through there. I think it was 2000. It was late. Yeah, it was after 9. I know it was after 9/11. It was probably around the spring of 2002. That whole area was cordoned off. So we couldn't take Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill also was barricaded. So we take pictures, but we couldn't be at the steps. And that's the Lincoln Memorial. So there, I went inside there, took pictures. Jefferson Memorial, I took pictures there. That's that. The water, they call it. It's like a big pool. It's long, and that's the Lincoln Memorial right there. So we walked all of that. I walked all of that. It's very nice. If you've never been there, I recommend going there at least once. Of course, now you could take the Acela. Take the Amtrak. Acela. You'll be there in about 3 hours. From New York City, about 3 hours. From Grand Central. Grand Central, you take the Acela. And I track Acela. It'll take you down to Union Station in DC. About 3 hours. No, I had digital camera. I had a digital camera. No, yes, the phone wasn't very smart. It was a flip phone. I had a flip phone back then. It was I think it was a flip phone, if I remember. But I had a digital camera. It was like a 1 megapixel digital camera. It was an Olympus. It was an Olympus. I bought it back in 2001. It was a one mega. Yeah, it wasn't disposable though. It was a 1 megapixel digital camera. No video. Not really video. No, I think it was no video. It was just Olympus. I took pictures of 9/11. Afterwards, I went down to Ground Zero. I took pictures of the rubble and all that. With that, I have pictures of that.
Tune into media centers in every style, all from just $99.
I have pictures of Ground Zero.
Tables at prime time prices.
Digital.
Savings and endless end days, all under one.
Yeah, I had that too.
Plus, assemble it all faster than you can pick out a movie, and get it shipped fast and free to your door. Oh look.
I'm gonna lower it a little bit. Yeah, I had those camcorders too with the mini tape. I still have them. I still have those. I have two JVC mini DV. They're mini DV. I have them. I have two of them. I have the original one that my wife bought. And I have the tapes. But the one thing about those tapes, they're not like VHS. They got degraded really quick. They're not as durable as VHS. Unfortunately, they didn't last that long. So I have a JVC, and then I bought one on eBay for like $30 a few years ago because I was converting those mini DV tapes into MP4. So yeah, but I have the after 9/11 with my Olympus camera, I went down to Ground Zero. I took a lot of pictures of the damage. When the towers came down, it damaged a couple of buildings around it. So I have those pictures somewhere. I need to. I might post them on my. I have a Flickr account. If you go to allmylinks.com/Dan1, my Flickr account should be there. I believe I still have the link there. And I have some old pictures of the Olympus, but I don't have the Ground Zero pictures there. I'm gonna eventually upload them there. I got one picture of a lady. I guess she used to work somewhere nearby Ground Zero, and she's wearing a respirator. She's wearing a respirator, and she's walking down there. And I have that picture, and I'm like, man, that's how bad the air was. So I went down there right after it happened. So I breathed in some of that I have breathed in some of that air. You know, knock on wood. So far, and we kept going down there. Uh, I went down there for like for weeks, like a day here, a day there, and then they finally cordoned off the whole area. Little by little, they were shutting down a few more streets. So in the beginning, I got very close to the rubble, but then within a few weeks, they cordoned off a lot of streets. The radius was wider. They barricaded a lot of areas where you was not allowed to even walk in that block. So they started bringing in a lot of recovery. But remember, the first couple of days, it was a rescue. 9/11. And then after about a couple of weeks, that's it. Because there was people that were still alive after a couple of days. I think they rescued up a few people. When the towers came down, there was a couple of people that were still rescued after all that. Probably a couple of more days. I remember there's still police officers, and there were some other people. They made a movie about that too. So, but after about a month, that was it. Then they started removing all the debris. And I think for the first year, for the first year they were just removing debris. And then by the second year, they cleaned it out. You saw the pit. And then I believe by the fifth year is when they started, they unveiled the new construction plans for the new building, for the Freedom Tower. But for the first year, they really removed a lot of the debris. Because when the towers came down, for weeks, it was smoldering inside that pit. It was like, 1,000 degrees. It was still smoldering. There was still fire for weeks. So they couldn't get all the way in there. It was like, smoldering. I'll never forget all that. I remember my friend and I, we went to the World Trade Center. I went there on Memorial Day weekend of 2001. We went to the top, to the observatory. I remember that, and I even kind of it was kind of a what if. And I remember telling my friend, who was on the roof, and I kept telling him, what if a plane would hit this building? I said that to him, and he looked at me like, and the building just comes down, and we have to go. We go down with the building. We were on the roof of the World Trade Center, and I remember saying that. I was up there with him, and I said, imagine a plane just flies low and hits the building. It's like I didn't predict it, but I was saying that at the time. It went through my mind that imagine a plane just hitting this building. And that was May of 2001, Memorial Day weekend. We went up there. It was my friend, and then he brought along his friends. So the three of us went up there. That was my second time going up there. Before that, my first time going up in the World Trade Center was, I was in the 6th grade. And we had a school trip. school trip, class trip. We went to the World Trade Center to the top, but we didn't go to the roof. We went to the, the what they call the observatory, because it was raining that day. So when the weather's bad, they don't let you go on the roof. So we was leaning over the glass and looking over and all that. I was in the 6th grade. And then the second time was Memorial Day weekend 2001. And I've been in that building quite a few times. But I never went to the top, outside to the top. And until May of 2001. But I've been in that building. No, I haven't been to the new one yet. I've been in that building several times. I used to work as a messenger. Then my wife used to work there. I used to pick her up every so often, and there we used to have lunch. We used to have lunch in the food court down below, because they have like a shopping area at the lower level. So I used to pick up my wife. We used to eat lunch there and all that. My wife got laid off a few months before 9/11 happened. And I think I already said that story. She got laid off, I believe, around 6 months before that happened. And me, I didn't get hired. There was a job there that I came very close to getting the job. It was for a company called IGEA. The interview was to be a webmaster for the IGEA. They make feminine shaving products. Like when they shave their legs and all that, it's like a razor. So I was gonna be the webmaster for that website. And I was very close to getting the job. The guy, we had a great interview and everything. But at the last minute, he gave it to somebody else. Somebody applied within, and they got the job. And this is at the 85th floor of the, I believe it was the North Tower, 85th floor. So have I gotten that job? I probably would have been in that building when 9/11 happened. But I guess God had a plan for me and my wife. God had a plan for us. And that job was not meant to be. Because, my wife got laid off months before that. And I didn't get the job. So we both could have been working in those buildings. And, that's the first thing I thought about. That morning, I remember. My wife calls me on the phone. I was off that day. I already had another job. I was working with Bombardier as a train technician for the subway cars. Back then, the new subway cars were rolling out on the number 4 line. And I remember my wife calling me. She said, "Danny, have you heard the planes hit the World Trade Center?" And I'm like, "What?" She said, "Turn on the news." So I turned it on right away. I saw all over the news that a plane just hit the World Trade Center and all that. And then when the second plane hit, I knew that was... Once the second plane hit, I knew it was a terror attack. And then when the buildings went down, I started thinking about my life, my whole life. And I was going through depression at the time. I was going through depression. I remember that because I couldn't get a job, even though I just finished college. That's one thing. You need to real. A lot of kids don't realize that. They think that when you finish college right away, you're gonna get a high-paying job. That's what I thought. I struggled to find a job. When I got my bachelor's degree, I thought I was gonna get a better tech job, and it never happened. I never got a high-paying tech job. When I had my associate, I had a few good jobs, but when I got my bachelor's, I thought I was gonna make more money. I got rejected. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to working on trains as a technician because I had enough mechanical experience from the Air Force. I also had a little electrical knowledge and computer knowledge. So I wanted to working as a technician for, subway cars. So I went to a different line of work. I went into transportation. So I never went to another. I never had another, computer tech job after I got my bachelor's. And I was going through I was depressed. I had interviews with IBM and all that. Nobody hired me. No one. And then when 9/11 happened and I wasn't in that building and I didn't die that day, my life changed forever. I stopped, uh, I had to snap out of it. Yeah, I had to snap out of it. I was lucky. I was like, you know what? I'm lucky. I could have died in those buildings. That's what I think about every. I have an associate in computer science, and I have a bachelor's in information systems. It's a bachelor of business, like BBA, bachelor of business, BBA in information systems. So it's another computer degree. And then I was thinking about going for my master's, but at this point now, I just can't afford it. And yeah, I thought about going because Monroe has a master's degree program now. So I could have went to Monroe 2 more years. I would have got my master's, but once I got my bachelor's and I didn't get hired for tech jobs, because what happened in the tech industry, man, I don't want to sound like I'm a racist, but when I got into the tech industry, there was not a lot of, I want to say, foreigners undercutting us. But then they started going to like India, places like that. And they will bring foreign workers and they work for less money. Like Mexicans undercut construction jobs and all that. Well, that's what happened in tech. Indians, Indian, whatever, Pakistani, whatever, mostly Indian. They undercut They come here on a work visa. The job they used to pay 60,000 a year, they take the job for 35,000. So they undercut 35,000 a year. Same job that was worth 60,000 a year, now it's 35,000. They fucking flooded the market. They took every fucking job. You know, how can you compete with someone that's willing to work less wages, less hourly wage? No fucking benefits. And then in tech, you get a lot of contract jobs. 6-month assignment. I did a couple of those though. The 6-month assignment, 3-month assignment, and they don't need you. It's bullshit. I was very disillusioned. That's why you have a lot of these people now that they get these degrees. They go to Ivy League school, and they think they're gonna be making 100,000 a year in the first year, and that's not the case. That's not the case. My first tech job with my associate, I remember my salary was gonna be 25,000 a year. I was freaking happy, and that wasn't even a livable wage. 25,000 a year. It sounds like it's okay, but it's not. After taxes, and I used to get paid every 2 weeks, so they will really hit me with taxes. And then child support, oh my God. 1,100 and change every 2 weeks. By the time they get through my check, I have maybe $300. I used to make about 1,100 every 2 weeks, give or take. Which it doesn't sound like a lot. After taxes and child support, I would have $300. How are you supposed to live off of that? Back in 1990, even 1995, $300 and change. That's bullshit, That's when I got a real lesson on child support and all that shit, and taxes. Fucking, bringing in, you think, oh, look at all this gross pay, and they fucking chop up your check like fucking every which way there is. It's fucking depressing, bro. I was like, I went to school for this. I went to school for this. I could be working in construction and probably make more. Construction, I probably could have made more. Or plumbing. Would have gone into a union, do some plumbing. Or electrician, apprentice. I would have made more money on that instead of fucking tech job. Fucking thankless fucking job, And then, all that Microsoft certified and all that shit. I didn't want to do all that. I said, fuck that, I'm not doing all this shit. Now how much money that would have cost me? Microsoft certification. They asked for all this bullshit. Oh, yeah, Microsoft certification. No, I don't have no Microsoft. Oh, do you have Network Plus? I got the A plus. I took the A plus. I got certified in A plus. That means technician, certified technician, A plus. So I got that certificate. And then the new A plus now, the old one they don't even accept that no more. Because now the new one has all the Wi-Fi protocols and all this bullshit. So you always got to be fucking around with certification to compete with fucking, I hate to say it, with fucking Indian, Pakistani that undercut your fucking wage. Of course. It's disheartening. It's fucking, you know, it's reverse discrimination. So they give me, how many jobs I was qualified to do, but they gave it to someone else because they fell in a particular demographic, and I'm not even white. Trust me, I ran into people that they got hired to do jobs that they had no idea what they were doing, but they hired them because either they were a woman, either it was a woman, or some person filled a particular demographic. They were not hired from merit. Like I said in my other channel, when I started my YouTube channel, I ran websites for 20 plus years. My own websites. I managed servers. Some of them were, some of them I'm going to say, they were adult sites. I had adult sites too. I made money from commission, memberships. I made more money back then than I did now with YouTube. I made a lot more money back then. Just with banner ads and things like that, I make money. Offering trial memberships and all that. This is before all these apps, before smartphone. Before YouTube. That shit killed our business. The video like YouTube, the adult version of YouTube, that killed all our business back then. Like you know what I'm talking about, like Pornhub. Those are called porn. That shit killed our all our websites. I stopped running my websites in 2008. I retired after what? Almost 20 years running websites, all types of websites. I had advertisers like Adult Friend Finder. That's the biggest one I had, was Adult Friend Finder. So people hook up there, and you could it's like they have the app now. Now they have the app for all that. Like you swipe if you like this person, you just check, If you don't want this one, you swipe. Like they have something called Tinder. Back then, that was Tinder, the website, the friend finder. And they have one for different one. Like they have Jewish friend finder. They have a whole bunch of them. Some that are like for you want to meet your mate, your soulmate. Lava Life. I know they own Lava Life for a while. Lava Life was one of those things that people go there to to find your soulmate, whatever date. They even had the numbers. You could call the number and talk over. And then Lava Life got bought out by somebody else. I forgot who bought them. I used to advertise all those things. And it was better money than what I'm making now. Believe me. But that changed. That was the original Web 1.0. Then Web 2.0 is social media. So now we're going into Web 3.0, which is blockchain technology. Blockchain. So once social media came out, that also killed a lot of websites. Because now everybody had a social media account, everybody had a website, everybody had a web. Remember your Facebook and all that, that's your web page. If you don't have a dedicated web page, your social media is your web page. So before Web 2.0, a lot of people didn't have their own web page. If you wanted a web page before that, you had to make your own web page and either get free hosting, which is very limited, or you pay for web hosting, or you pay for a server. You rent the server, pay monthly or something, or if you have the fast internet connection, you can host your own server at home. But that was very expensive back then. It was very super expensive. We're talking about thousands of dollars a month. Now a lot of people got gigabit and all that. Back then, if you wanted like 1.5 megabit per second line, you had to get like a T1 line. That's several thousand a month. That's a lot of money. Especially if you don't, you need to make a profit. So I had to pay for I had to pay a hosting company to host a web server. So I had a dedicated machine at their location, and I had to pay like $250 a month. And I had my own computer, a Linux computer, web server on it, installed everything, and I could host like a bunch of sites on it, different domains. So I one time I had like about almost 100 websites on one server, all types of websites, and each of them were bringing traffic. And I always made money to pay off for the server and still have money in my pocket. I had a good run for a couple of years, like a few years. And then it went after social media, Web 2.0. That killed all those websites. MySpace. And that was the first social media that killed a lot of websites because people started using MySpace as their own page. And then Facebook. A lot of people went to Facebook. After MySpace, Facebook killed it. Then MySpace went dead. Facebook. Then YouTube. Took over. YouTube. That's where we at now. Web 2.0. Now Web 3.0 is blockchain. Blockchain technology is decentralized. That means there's no one web server. That means it's spread out all over. Biggest blockchain is crypto. When you buy crypto and you trade crypto, it doesn't go to one server. It goes to a whole bunch of what they call decentralized network. So not one machine, one server has your Bitcoin. It's actually pieces. One piece is here, the other piece is on the. And when you need to access it, puts it all together and it sends it to another one. So it's decentralized. So if one computer goes down on the decentralized network, doesn't matter. Your data will still be there. Because they always backing each other up. There's redundancy when it comes to decentralized. So if one computer, two computers go offline, it takes another path. It doesn't matter. A centralized server, if that computer goes down, then that website is dead. It's down until that computer comes back up. But a decentralized blockchain is 1 million computers. If 250 of them go down, the other 750 will pick it up. And you won't even notice it. It's always doing that. That's what they call blockchain. Yeah, so when I started my channel, I already had all this knowledge.
Children's Research Hospital.
You know?
Helping kids like Maylin and Azalea live their best lives.
I understand all of this. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna enjoy this summer, and then I think in the fall I'm gonna. I don't know, because when I went to Times Square a few weeks ago, I kind of missed the city. But it was nice taking the Metro North, though. It was a more comfortable ride. It's more expensive. Take the Metro North into New York City. But it's faster. It's a lot faster. From Yonkers Station to Grand Central, it's like a 35-minute train ride. 35, maybe under 40 minutes. I was in Grand Central. Grand Central, 40 minutes. For Yonkers. Into Grand Central. You know, the thing is, it's $9 each way. $9. Because commuter trains is not one price. It goes by the stop. I don't know if you ever, you taking commuter trains like LIRR and all that. The same thing. The further out you go, the more expensive your ticket is. So from Yonkers to Grand Central is $9 right now. $9. So if I were to, now if I don't take the Metro North, then there's another way I can go, but it's a bus. I will have to take the Westchester line bus. There's a couple of buses I could take. There's a number 4 bus that goes to Woodlawn from where I live out in Yonkers to Woodlawn in the Bronx. That's a bus that goes there. It's a number 4 bus. It's a Westchester bus. The B line. They call that the B line. The good thing about the bus is the transfer is free. If I use a Metro card on the bus, I get a free transfer to the subway. So I will take the bus to Woodlawn and then get on the number 4 train into the city. The other bus is called the number 1 bus. That one will take me to 242nd Street and Broadway to the number 1 train. And then I can take the number 1 train into the city. I have a few ways of going into the city. But the fastest way is the Metro North. I'll have to walk down to the Yonkers station, get on the Metro North, and I'll be in Central. I could be in Grand Central in about 40 minutes. The walk from my house to the Yonkers station is about 20 minutes. It's a 20-minute walk. My house to the Yonkers train station. So, when I went down to I kind of missed it. I was like, man, I do miss the city, though. So, I have, my son is going to the 5th grade now. My brother could kind of like work it out with my wife and see, because my wife doesn't want him to go to school by himself yet. I don't blame her either. I went to school by myself since in the 3rd grade. I had somebody I would go with. But by 5th grade, I was going to school by myself. Even the 4th grade, I was going to school by myself in Puerto Rico. I had to walk to school by myself. But my wife is, she's kind of like reluctant. I have to go to school by himself right now, even though the school is only a couple of blocks away. So I'm gonna be looking, but I really want to. Plus I'm a night owl. So um, you know, I'll keep looking. Definitely gonna enjoy this summer, and then most likely I'll probably gonna find a full-time job. Now, I enjoy my channels, but it's a challenge. And I said in my live stream, if you get into this YouTube thing and you think you're gonna make money, like to quit your day job, it's not gonna happen. Plus, YouTube is always changing. You know, so let me see what else is. me mute this. Oh wow, look at that. That's a parachute. Yeah, it's a parachute guy. That's the Golden Knights. That's the Army parachute. They're like the elite parachute unit. Yeah, see? Golden Knights. Wow. Where they fly those parachutes. Look at that. Yeah, that's the Golden Knights, United States Army uh, elite parachute. Golden United States Golden Knights. The Las Vegas team in the NHL is named after the Golden Knights because I believe the owner was he was a military, so he named the team after the Golden Knights. I think he was also a Golden Knight, or he has some. He's like he's a big fan of that. So he wound up naming the Las Vegas team Golden Knights. Las Vegas Golden Knights. Look at that. Wow, look at that. And you're gonna land, look, you're gonna land. Bam, bam, look at that. Wow, look at that standing up. Bam. Perfect landing. Me another beer. That's a perfect landing right there. Wow. Oh, those are DC-3. Oh, those are like from World War II. Wow. Oh, look, a B-17 bomber. And there's a P-51 Mustang. Those are World War II right there. World War II aircraft. Yeah, P-51 Mustang, B-17 bomber. Pretty cool. World War II aircraft. 80-year-old aircraft. Yeah, P-51 Mustang. Let me put the audio in there. Yeah. B-17, baby. Let me turn off the AC for you. B-17.
Yeah, there's another set. What the hell is that?
Those are one. DC-3. Those are DC-3. Those were a transport plane in World War II. Those also were the paratrooper planes. So when they drop soldiers, you use this plane, the DC-3. So you got paratroopers. Or cargo. That was a cargo. These were the cargo planes in World War II. And that's a like a B-24. Yeah, B-24. The bomber. World War II. Yeah, B-24 right there. B-24. And that is the look like the B-29. Yeah, B-29. There you go, B-29. That's a B-29. So that was the first. B-29 was the first high altitude pressurized cabin. And the B-29 was the one that dropped the atomic bomb. They dropped two of them. And the B-29. That's the only plane that can fly from Tinian Island to Japan non-stop. They had to fly there to Japan non-stop. Drop the bomb and come back home to Tinian Island. That's a long flight. So that was a plane that, well, not that one, but that's the type, the B-29. The one that dropped the atomic bomb is in this. Is in this
Phillips Latte Go, it's always a good time for a coffee.
Is in the Smithsonian. I actually saw that plane.
Or during afternoon break. I start with the freshly ground beans.
So it's in Virginia.
Yeah.
The Enola Gay, that's the name of the that one is in Virginia. And that's the one that dropped the first atomic bomb. The second one, I don't know what that one is. I think it's in California. Is the nickname is the Boxcar. That one dropped the second atomic bomb, and then Japan surrendered. They had enough. That was it. But they didn't want to surrender. So, you know, these are Navy. As a Corsair, F4 Corsair. I can't see what this one is. And this is a P-39. Then there's a P-39. And this one looks like, I forgot it's a P, I think the nickname, I can't make out the other one. I know they're Navy. This one, I think that's not Navy. That one, I can't remember what it is. I think it's the,
No, they're Blackhawks and Hueys.
yeah, these are, I got the helicopters.
Blackhawks are in the middle.
And that looks like the Huey Cobra. Then Blackhawk. Yeah. No, these are the Chinook. These are the two. They got the two rotors. These are the long ones. Then they have one rotor here, one rotor here. So those are the attack helicopters there. That's the Hueys. The old Hueys from the Vietnam War. Those are the Chinook. They call them the Chinook. Chinook. There's the ones, the long one that transport. They have two rotors. They call it the flying boat. It looks like a boat. So those are the Hueys from, if you know those from Vietnam, that's the original Huey. The original attack helicopter, and that was the workhorse for the Vietnam War. And these yeah, they look like they could be Blackhawks. Yeah, maybe they are Blackhawks. Those are the Cobra. Of course, that's the original attack helicopter. And then the Apache was developed. The Apache helicopter is the one that we have now. That is the modern attack helicopter now. That's the one, B-52 bomber. There you go. That's a B-52. Stratofortress. It was developed after World War II. Its first flight was in the 1950s, and it's still in service today. It's still in service. And it's going to be in service until 2050. And focus. I'm losing focus. Let me see. I lost focus because I got my hand there. Let me go over here. There we go. Focus. Yeah. So the B-52 is going to be around until 2050. So far, they're saying. So it might hit 100 years in service because it's still, of course, it have many modifications on it. The B-52 have many modifications, including new engines now. It has the new General Electric engines on it. It's still a very effective long-range bomber. So it's still a very reliable bomber for long-term long range bomber. It can deliver nuclear weapons anywhere around the world. So even though it was developed in the 1950s, it's still in service today. You can still deliver the bombs. They use that plane in Iraq, in Afghanistan. It's still serviceable plane. B-52 bomber. I don't know. That looks like the Apache. Yeah, that looks like the Apache helicopter, the ones on top. And the bottom ones, there might be Black Hawk. It might be a Black Hawk. Oh yeah, definitely that's the Apache. I actually played the simulator for that, and on the Commodore 64, I remember there's a game called Gunship. That's the flight simulator for the Apache. Yeah, that's the Apache. You can tell. It has those little wings that stick out with all the weaponry on it. It has rocket launchers. It has Hellfire missiles. It can launch Hellfire missiles. It can launch air-to-air missiles. It can shoot down planes. It has a Gatling gun, 200 millimeter cannon. Those are Black Hawks. So, yeah. F-14 Tomcat. Of course, you know it from excuse me. No, F-15. F-15, sorry. F-15. My bad, not F-14. F-14 are retired now. The United States Navy, they're retired. So that's the F-15. Strike Eagle. Yeah, F-15. F-14 is a Navy fighter. Of course, that one was the Top Gun. Famous for Top Gun. That's the Osprey. Those are the Marine Corps. United States Marines. So that one flies like this, but it can it takes off as a helicopter, but it can fly as a plane. So that is the Osprey. So those are Marines, United States Marine Corps. Yeah, United States Marines. I know the Army has them too, but I definitely know the Marine Corps has them. And people ask, why do they make this if they have a plane? No, these can land anywhere. Even though they can fly as a plane, they don't need a big runway. They can land anywhere on a short runway. That's why these were developed. And they can carry troops. So if you need a group of troops, you need to put them in one area where it's not accessible because there's not enough for a runway. Especially like a SEAL team or whatever, or Marines. It's like a helicopter, but it flies like a plane. Look at UE. Now one looks like Yeah, it's like a Huey, but it's a Navy version. That's the back of it. So the back of it, it opens up, and you get some troops come out of there. You can put like 12 people in there. That's a Navy helicopter. Yeah, Navy, another Navy.
Quick now.
B-1 bomber. Supersonic bomber. There you go. Excuse me. It's a B-1. Supersonic. That plane can fly very low and fast. A-10. Those are the A-10. Those are for ground targets. Like tanks. They destroy tanks. Any ground targets. So the A-10 is, they call it the Warthog. That one can destroy tanks and all that. It has that big 20 millimeter Gatling gun in the front. It like rotates. It rotates around. Very famous for that. And there goes the B-2. The B-2 right there. That's the one that went over Iran. Bunker Buster.
Grainger has the safety
Bunker
pros.
Buster.
Shop our vast inventory of safety products at Grainger.com.
Grainger. That's a KC-10. That's a refueling. So that's a refueling plane. So now that's a B-2 stealth. B-2 stealth bomber. There you go. He's F-35. F-35 right there. Stealth fighter. So those are stealth fighter. And there goes a stealth bomber. These and then there's an F-18. F-18? Can't tell. I think those are F-18. Super Hornet, United States Navy, United States Marine Corps. I think those are maybe F-18. It's out in the back. Let's go. Oh, these are Thunderbirds. These are the is it F-16? And the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds. Okay, so the Thunderbirds, that's the Blue Angels. That's in the Navy. These are the Air Force Thunderbirds. So aerobatic. These are the two aerobatic elite aerobatic teams. So these are F-16s. Those are F-18s. These are United States Navy Thunderbird, Blue Angel, F-16 Thunderbirds. If you never been to an air show, you got to see them. Yeah, I remember watching the F-16s, the Thunderbirds. I went to air show in New Jersey. I remember watching them. Amazing watching them. The maneuvers that they do, oh my God, it's crazy. So there you go. That's the Blue Angels. That's the Thunderbirds. Navy, Air Force, right there. Look at that. That's awesome. Ah, look at that. I'm sorry if I'm talking and narrating it, but it's nice to watch. Even though it's not live, I love watching this stuff. Of course, that's the presidential plane right there. That's the president's plane. Air Force One is a 747. Of course, is modified for all types of. So yeah, Air Force One. And I think it looped around now. I think it's looping now. Of course, these are DC-3, so I think it looped around now. It's pretty cool, watching this stuff. Well, 1 hour 27 minutes in the books, and thank you for watching. I've been to an air show. I actually love it. I want to take my son to an air show. So this was earlier today in Washington, D.C. So, of course, it's looping now. We saw this earlier. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch this stuff. Let me see what else is going on. Let me sit here for a minute. And yeah, B-17 bomber and the P-51 Mustang. Pretty cool. Oh my God. Yeah. So that was let me see if I have this one to show a different view.
Everything starts with Festo, like electric cars driven by battery cells, from a fully automated production line delivered with our knowledge and technology inside, developed with our customers. Festo. We're Tire Rack. We test tires to provide you with truth, transparency, and unbiased recommendation.
Oh, it's the same one. It's a different. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I already seen that. I've already kind of seen that already. Oh, of course. Where's my video? I just saw my video. Oh my God, Coney Island. I saw videos of Coney Island. Oh my God. Um. Yeah, it looks nasty now. Let me see. So that's a night view of Coney Island. Look, I'm talking about the beach. I would not go to the beach anymore. Central Park pool. Oh my God, avoid it now. Oh my God, it's so ghetto. Look how nice Coney Island looks at night. That's Coney Island, Brooklyn, from the Earth Cam view. So they renovated all this. Do you remember that? They renovated that. And that's the Cyclone. No, this is a Cyclone. The Cyclone. I wrote on the Cyclone. That I wrote on the Cyclone. That's one of the world's oldest roller coasters right here. That's the original Cyclone. It's a wooden coaster. That's the original. My friend and I, one time, we walked from the Bronx to Coney Island. We walked it. almost 20 miles. And the same guy was talking about earlier that, at the peak, this was the longest walk we ever did. It took us 9 hours. 9 hours walking from the Bronx, New York to Coney Island, Brooklyn. We walked it. Yeah, we walked it. It was crazy. And it was in the summer. It was a hot day. And we walked it, me and him. We only did it once. Because I told him as a joke, I said, one day we're going to walk to Coney Island. And he was like, yeah, yeah. And I said, okay. And then one day I said, yo, we're going to do it tomorrow. So get ready, get a good night's sleep. And me and him walked it to Coney Island from the Bronx. That was a long day. I remember. It was walking to the Bronx from where I lived at is, about an hour. You're into Manhattan. Actually, less than that. If you walk to, I used to live by Burnside Avenue, so I would walk down. Me and him walk down University Avenue to High Bridge, or it's called the Washington Bridge, and that will take you into 181st Street and Manhattan, St. Nicholas, and then from there we walked down to we went down St. Nicholas Avenue all the way down to about 100 and trying to remember the route. There was a route that we took to get there kind of fast. So we wound up on St. Nicholas. So we took that down on the east side. We went all the way down through we went down to Harlem. I know we went down through Harlem. And we wind up on Central Park North. So we walked through Central Park, the whole Central Park. About 125th Street, Central Park. Not 125th Street. Central Park starts at about 110th Street. 110th Street, we walked down through Central Park because I've done that a million times, me and him. But I've done it a million times. All the way down to Central Park South, which is around 59th Street. And then we stood on the east side of Manhattan. And that took us all the way down to the South Street Seaport. And then the Brooklyn Bridge. We crossed the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, look, the lighting fireworks right there. We crossed over to the Brooklyn Bridge, and now we're in Brooklyn. Believe it or not, Manhattan was not difficult to walk through. Brooklyn was the one that was difficult to walk through because there's a lot of nothing until you get here. If you walk underneath the Gowanus, is it the Gowanus? It's nothing but industrial. It's a lot of, like industrial, like, a lot of, like flat fixed places. It's very, grungy. It's not like a scenic route where you walk through. So a lot of it was that until we got to about Bay Ridge. So we were walking under a highway overpass. We were walking under. It was just most of it was like that for a while. And then when we got to Bay Ridge, we saw the Verrazano. That's all a park. All the way on the other side of Coney Island. It's all the way at the corner. There's a Verrazano Bridge. So that park walked it all the way to here. So Brooklyn is a big borough. So I think we made it to we made it to Brooklyn Bridge in about 4.5 hours from the Bronx. So the next 4 hours was in Brooklyn, give or take. Not 4 hours, excuse me. I said 4 hours. Because also we're not familiar with Brooklyn. That was another thing. Brooklyn, I'm not familiar with Brooklyn in terms of walking around. I don't know all the streets. I found, look, the cycle right there. See, they're riding the cycle. Because they also have their own number streets. So, but we finally made it to Coney Island. And then we went to Nathan's Hot Dog and had a hot dog. After that 9-hour walk, we actually sat down and Nathan's had a hot dog to reward us. Because, of course, he was trying to lose weight. And, oh, that's so cool. Look at the fireworks. So, yeah, true story, bro. I walked to Coney Island from the Bronx on a summer day with my friend. I remember that. It was like one of those obstacles we had to do, you know. And we measured the distance. I think it was almost 20 miles. It was about 20 miles from where we lived in the Bronx to Coney Island right here on foot. And then we took the subway back home. We got on the D train, went all the way back home to Tremont Avenue. That's the stop that's near our home. Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. D train from here to Tremont Avenue. That's a 2-hour, almost 3-hour subway ride back. Coney Island to the Bronx. But this is the last stop of the D train. Right here, Coney Island. What is it? Surf Avenue. That's the last stop. Coney Island, right there. I used to work around there. I worked at the Coney Island rail yard for a few months. They had me down here in Coney Island. So I would go from the Bronx all the way to Coney Island on the subway, 3-hour commute. Going there, 3 hours going back. So 6 hours I would spend on the train. Freaking long ass commute. That's a long train ride from the Bronx to Coney Island. That's a long train ride. That's a lot of stops. And I was doing that at night. So the trains didn't run often. So they would let me go. Sometimes I would at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning. Okay, Danny, you can go home. I would get on that train. By the time I got home, the sun was coming out. 4 in the morning, I would leave out of here. Coney Island rail yard. Coney Island Maintenance Depot. It's the biggest train yard in New York City. It has about 100 tracks. I remember. I forgot how many. It's huge acres of railroad tracks. Most of the train, that's where they overhaul all the trains and all that, subway cars and all that. It's crazy. It's the big leagues of rail yards. Yes, I will leave out of here about 4 in the morning. Sometimes if I'm lucky at 3 in the morning. I will get home around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Train, like a subway car right there. I have a whole bunch of train lines out. The D train, I know the D train, the N and the R. I remember the N and the R, I know the D train. There's quite a few of them. I believe the Q, no. Yeah, the N and the R, the D train. The B, also the B as in boy. The Bay Ridge. So this is all, and then out there, that's the beach, Coney Island Beach, and that's a pier right there. So the beach is right there, and that's a Cyclone. Some of these rides I don't remember because when I went there, they were renovating all of this. Now everything's completed. This was pretty much almost abandoned. I remember that they never got to. The only thing I was running was a Cyclone and the Ferris wheel. I think was still. I don't remember if it was operational. I don't think we. Now they have all this stuff now. They renovated all this stuff. And Coney Island, it looks very nice now. They really bring it back to life though. When I went, it was like, well, it was pretty bad. I think Nathan's is over. I'm trying to remember where Nathan's is at. I think Nathan's is over Is it here or down here? I think it's here. I'm trying to remember if it's here. Because there's an area where you could sit and eat Nathan's hot dogs. By the way, that's what they have the hot dog eating contest. They just had that today. I don't know who won that. I have to check. I don't know who won the hot dog eating contest. Over here is a baseball. I believe they have a baseball field now. The Brooklyn Cyclones. It's a minor league team. I think that's the stadium that they play on now. The Brooklyn Cyclones. That's the name of the team. Anybody can chime in the chat. Let me know. I believe that's the. So they didn't have that back then. That's all new. Last 20 years. The Brooklyn Cyclones. Of course, Staten Island also has a minor league team now. It's called the Ferry Hawks. Staten Island Ferry Hawks. Oh, that ride. I've been on that ride. It's like a slingshot. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Oh my God. I remember that. And this one. This is another scary ride. Oh my God. I remember that. We did that. But I didn't do it here though. I did this in I think we did this in Seaside Heights. It's in New Jersey, Seaside Heights.
This is Rocky.
Oh my God!
First car I
Of
ever
course, you know
bought.
we had to have a
Guessing
few.
the tires.
Let me
So I jumped on eBay Motors.
skip this. Yeah, we had to have a few beers. Me and my friend, we were like, "Yo, you want to do this one? This one right here? It's like there's 2 seats up there, and it goes like that." Oh my God! Scary fucking rides. Oh, the scary ass rides. And then in Six Flags, we did one that you're like lying down, and they take you up here, then they drop you, and then you swing. Like that, you swing. But you're all the way up here, and they say, "You ready?" Whenever you're ready, just pull that cord, and me and my friend, we dropped, and then we just swing. That one we did at Six Flags. Oh, that was crazy. That was like 20 years ago. Yeah, 20 plus years ago now. I wouldn't do those rides now. I'll probably get a heart attack now. I'm 58 now. There's no way I would. We did that 20 plus years ago. I remember that. We did the Kinder Car in Six Flags when they opened it up. That was like one of the fastest rides they had there. It's one of the highest. It has a hairpin thing. They did demolish that one last year. They finally, I think last year they ended it. So there's no more Kinder Car in Six Flags in New Jersey. I remember Kinder Car. I remember what's the other rides they had in Six Flags? I'm trying to remember them. Wow. Is it the Nitro? What is it called? The my God. I remember the Batman. Remember the Batman? Well, there's familiar with Six Flags in New Jersey. The Batman. And they had a roller coaster called Medusa. I used to love those roller coasters, but now, I put on some weight now, so my belly will get in the way of a lot of those things now. Oh my God! Look at this one right here. There's like people sitting around, and it goes all the way like that, and they wind up upside down here. It's like a pendulum. Oh, look at that! Look at the pendulum! Look at that! Oh my God! And in Six Flags, they have a wooden roller coasters too. It's like this one's called El Toro. And they have an older one. It's kind of like the Cyclone. In Six Flags, they have a wooden coaster that's pretty wild too. Because these are the wooden ones. These are the ones that rattle and all that. You feel like every bump on these. I think it was one of them that I hurt my neck. I know it was a Six Flags. We went a couple of times on a toll road. Kept going, you know, but nobody was in that lines. Those lines are very short, so we kept going over and over. We did like 3 or 4 times, and I think on the last time, I think I tweaked my neck because those roller coasters, they're not smooth. You know, they're rattled. They're old. They're like the old. These are old wooden ones, uh, old school. Everything you hear rattling, the chain. Oh my God, noisy. You know, unlike like something more, modern coaster. And these were like, you can feel every bump. But they were fun though. Don't get me wrong. They were fun. Over here, look like they got the go karts. Oh yeah, I saw them driving around all these go karts. That train, I see the yellow. That looks like the N or the R. See the yellow? It's yellow right there. So that's the N or the R. One of the two. That's not the D. That's the N or the R. This is nice. This is a nice web. This is a nice cam for Coney Island. Wow. It's pretty cool. Coney Island. Wow. And that ride right there, that's like some people get scared of that one. That one goes up and down. It goes, whoa! It goes like takes you up, then it drops you. It takes you up, then it drops you. Look at it. I don't even can see it from there. It's probably hard to see it on here. It's right here. Yeah, let me put my fingers like right there. See it going up, then it goes down, then it goes up, and it goes down, and people sitting across it. Oh my god. They had a lot of stuff at Coney Island now. Wow. You got this one in the middle. It looks like a saucer. And it goes back and forth and it spins around. You see that one with the saucer? It goes up, it goes around like that. Oh my god. My son will not do any of this now. He's 10. He will be terrified of all this right now. You know, man, this brings memories though. Oh, you have fireworks going on right down the distance. Oh my god, this is like memory lane. They're still blowing fireworks over here. You can hear them. Right now it's 12:26 in the morning here in Yonkers, New York. It's now July 5th, and I've been on for 1 hour and 50 minutes just talking. You know, anybody want to chime in? Hey, say hello. It's okay. Uh, this is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy live streaming. And that train there, I don't know what that one is. That one is below. I think that's the D train. See, there's one upper track here. That's a lower track. I think that's a D train. That might be the D train. I think the one that's a lower. Yeah, I think I remember the lower track is the D train coming going into Coney Island. Yeah, it's like fireworks still going outside. No, I mean, I just all till 2 or 3 in the morning. You'll still hear fireworks here. Uh, Over here in of course, some of it is probably as far away as in New York City, in the Bronx. Remember, I'm in Yonkers. I'm near the Bronx. Oh, I like that one too. That's the one that's like a swing. It goes up. It's a swing. See, look how tall it is. Look how high it goes. They're on a swing. That's a swing. Look how high it is. That's high. Look at that. The one at Six Flags is not that high. It's like right here. Half of that. That one is up there. Oh my God. They're way up there. You just sit on a chair. It's like a swing, and you put the bar around, and it's a swing. It just spins around and swings you. Oh my, see, it's going down. Look, it's going down. See? Oh my God, that's so high. Oh my God, that one is high compared to the one in Six Flags. I've been on the one in Six Flags. It's not that high. It's like half of it. Probably about half of it. That one goes all the way up here. My God. Wow. Of course, there's a carousel. There's like some kind of carousel. There's a small coaster here. It's like a little kiddie coaster, kind of. But it's not really a coaster. It's like a car. You see right there? Look. See? But it jerks you around. Look, it goes. See, look at it. I don't know if you can see it. When they had that in Atlantic City, I did that in Atlantic City. Oh my God, it's kind of little. Don't be misleading by it's not that tall. That thing will jerk you around. Like my wife and I got on that when we went to Atlantic City years ago, like 20 years ago. Oh my God, it's kind of cool though. It's kind of like, you take your little, you take your date and you take your date there. This one is scary. This is scary as fuck. That one right there. That is a slingshot. That one is scary as fuck. Oh my God, look at that. That one is scary. I did that one too. When you first go up, it feels like it's gonna launch you into the sky, and then oh my God. Back there's a smaller coaster. Oh, it's a smaller coaster. It looks like more like a kiddie one. This is like the boat. That one looks like a pendulum. Another pendulum is a boat. They had that in Six Flags too. It's called like it looks like a pirate ship, and it swings you back and forth. That one looks like the pirate ship, but that one is not like a boat. But the one I'm talking about in Six Flags, it looks like a boat. I think they call it the Buccaneer. It looks like a boat, and it swings you back and it goes at one end. It goes all the way almost up like that, and it goes back like that. Oh my God. This is cool. That one, I don't know. That one looks familiar too, but not here. Though. I done that in a. You go in there and the way it spins, you wind up leaning against the wall, and it spins and it spins. Oh my God! There's another coaster right here. That one looks like the Batman one. Look at they go up. I don't know if you can see it. They're going up, you see, and then they're gonna drop. There you go. They just drop. Look. Ah, they're right there. That looks like the Batman one in Six Flags. You know? So that one, your feet is dangling. That one, you sit down, your feet are dangling in the air. And that roller coaster right there. Yeah, hello, James Farley. Well. Yeah, I've been here for almost 2 hours. Excuse me, 2 hours now. I was showing the air show, the fireworks at the White House in D.C., and now Coney Island. Now we're talking about Coney Island. Well, I'm talking, and only one person is watching. That's you. So this is Coney Island, Brooklyn, Earth Cam. So this is Coney Island. I don't know if you've ever been to Coney Island in Brooklyn. So I was talking about all this. I've been here a few times. This is the Cyclone, the world famous Cyclone roller coaster. Of course, I'm talking about all these rides. I'm going to Earth Camp. I'm gonna be out for a while. I'm just so relaxing. We had fireworks a couple of hours ago. No, actually, like 3 hours ago now. I had fireworks in the yard. My son, he enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it. My brother came down. He enjoyed it. I didn't get to fire up the grill because I couldn't find my charcoal. I think I used up all my charcoal last time, so I didn't buy new charcoal. So I just cooked everything on the air fryer. Plus, my wife brought food from her job, some ribs and all that. So I ate pretty good, though. I ate good. And right now, right now I'm just having a few Bud Light Lime and kicking it back. I'm just relaxing now. I'm just relaxing and putting in some viewing hours on this channel. I'm going to be out for a while. Just kicking back. Yeah. I'm on my second Twirly. Now. I have a few of them in the freezer. Yeah, I'm just relaxing. My wife is off tomorrow, so my son is up late. He's on the computer playing upstairs. He's gonna stay up late. My wife is off tomorrow, so she's gonna sleep late, wake up late, and then tomorrow I'll start bringing in the cabinets. I was gonna go out there tonight, but there's too much fireworks out there. I'm not gonna be able to, do a radio video. Even if I want to record a video, radio, there's too much fireworks. People are gonna be blowing fireworks all night here. Yeah, here in Yonkers, they blow fireworks all night. Even tomorrow, you'll hear fireworks. Oh, you just woke up? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm just I'm gonna turn on the AC for a few minutes. Beers are making me hot. Bringing up my temperature now. You just woke up, all right. Yeah, I'm just relaxing, man. I'm just kicking it back today. Oh, you slept through all the fireworks? Oh, okay. Let me see what other Earth can. You need the Arctic chill. Yeah. Let me see what other. So far, I had Donald Trump, Melania looking at the fireworks. That was earlier. My gosh, she's freaking hot. Oh, man, I love Melania. Man, when people say, "Oh, Michelle Obama was a beautiful person," no, she wasn't. She was fucking ugly. Michelle Obama. Are you kidding me? Are you gonna compare that to Melania? Michelle Obama. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, I watched the bill signing too. Exactly. Fucking love it. So, you know, I see all these comments sometimes. Oh, yeah, is it exactly? Um, I said it earlier. You know, Barack Obama was the first gay president, right? I tell people that, and they look at me like I'm nuts. They go, you know, Barack Obama was the first gay president because his husband is a man. He even called him Michael at one time. It was a flub. He was doing a speech and he said, Michael and I, oh, Michelle. And then Joan Rivers. Remember Joan Rivers when she said that? She said, don't you guys know that that's a man? Remember when Joan Rivers said that? And then shortly after that, she died. So the rumor is that she had her killed. Because she said that. Joan Rivers said, don't you know that's a man? Excuse me. Yeah, she said that. And when she said that, like a month later, she died. And I remember that day. She died. She was doing a procedure. I had that procedure done to me. It's called an endoscopy. It's when they stick a fiber optic down your throat and they sedate you. Because they check your stomach when they do that. Endoscopy. So she was getting that procedure. It's a minor procedure. It's not nothing. And she died. So somebody was fucking with the anesthesiologist and they gave her overdose. And she never came out. She never came out of that. She never woke up from the endoscopy. And that's how she died. So when that happened, something told me she has something to do with it. Obama, Michelle Obama, Michael Obama. Because, you know, she said that. I swear to God, go look it up. When she said that, they were like putting microphones up. She said, don't you know that that's a man? It's a tranny. I think she used the word tranny or something. And within a month or so, she was dead. I think it was a month or so. I don't know. It wasn't that far away from when she made that statement that she died on a minor procedure. You know? It was an endoscopy that she was doing. Because I had that. I'm telling you, I know what endoscopy is. You know, when you go to see, because I had colonoscopies. And that's, you know, where they check, when they go through the other ends. But an endoscopy is when they go through the mouth and they check your stomach. They go down the esophagus and check for polyps on the esophagus, and then they check your stomach. So she had that procedure because, you know, she has a raspy voice. So I think when they do that procedure on, like, Joan Rivers, it's because she has polyps in the endoscopy, and that helps actually clear her voice. And the sedative they give you for that is propanol. It's injected, it's intravenous. When they put you to sleep, they use propanol. Propofol, something like that's called. And that shit knocks you out. And she never came out of it. That's how she died. She never came out of it. So that means somebody fucked with the dosage. I mean, somebody probably went in there and fucked with the dosage and killed her. They OD'd. They OD'd on the propanol. And she never came out of it. So that tells me that there's some foul play. And that's the first thing I thought. I said, yeah, the Obama has something to do with this shit. Of course, you can't prove it now, whatever, back then or whatever. But I had a feeling. And I told my wife, I said, you know, that's the Obama They're like the Clintons. You know, you talk bad about them, you wind up dead. You wind up dead. And that's what happened to Joan Rivers. They fucking, I'm going to say it, they fucking killed her. So when they put these stupid statement, oh, you know, Michelle Obama was out. How you going to compare Michelle Obama to Melania Trump? Are you crazy? Melania Trump is the most beautiful woman that ever became first lady. Period. The only woman that comes close to Melania Trump is Jacqueline Onassis. And she wasn't that pretty. She was okay. Jacqueline Onassis, she's you know, she's okay. She's not Melania Trump. Melania Trump is still fucking hot. Sorry. Oh, my wife, I hope she's sleeping. Sorry. Melania's fucking hot. She's, you know, fucking hot. That's it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say low. Yeah, stunning. Oh my God, type. Oh my God, you know, you can't compare it to. You can't compare it to Joe Biden. Are you fucking kidding me, Joe Biden? Or Laura Bush? Let's talk about the last 30 years. First lady. We're gonna go back in time. Joe Biden, no. Michelle Obama or Michael, hell no. Freaking ugly, broad shoulders and all that shit. A man, she's a man. That's a man. That's a man. Bush Jr. What? Laura Bush? No. Sorry. Although she wasn't that bad. Laura Bush wasn't that bad. Before that was who? Hillary Clinton. When she was younger. No. He was okay. When she was younger, Hillary Clinton was okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, Hillary Clinton back in the day, she was okay. You know? Back then she was you know, you know, she was okay. I'm talking about back in the days. In the 90s when Clinton was president. It was okay. And then before that, you got to go who? Barbara Bush? No. Nancy Reagan? No. Rosalind Carter? Rosalind Carter was okay. But no. Betty Ford? Give me a break. Before that, who? Pat Nixon? No. And then I forgot Lyndon Baines Johnson. I don't know who the fuck his wife is. I don't think he was he married? Lyndon Johnson? Anyway, you see what I'm saying? You have to go way back, and there's nobody. You can't, there's nobody. Only Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy. She has style. So yeah, Melania Trump. Hands down. People make fun of her accent. I dig the accent. I love the accent. I'm sorry. I love the accent. I'm a sucker for accents. So I love the accent. So who the hell's Lady Bird? Lady Bird. I don't know what you call Lady Bird. I'm not familiar with the term Lady Bird. But yeah, Jacqueline Onassis, that's the only one I can think of that comes remotely close to Melania. That's what they compare her. I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger's speech. It was very good. Lady Bird Johnson. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know who she is. So, and then Kennedy. I go as far back as that. I don't know anybody else. So in modern history, no. Melania Trump is freaking stunning. Not even close. Oh, they're blowing up fireworks again. Oh my god. All right, let me see what else is out there. Oh, Seaside Heights. Let me see. Oh, Seaside Heights. Okay, Seaside Heights. Oh, so he won? Did he win? Did he reclaim the title? 'Cause remember last year he was banned. Last year he was banned. Anyway, Seaside Heights. So this is Earth Cam, Seaside Heights. I haven't been to Seaside Heights in a long time, like 20 years. Oh, it wasn't even close. Okay. Yeah, because I know the guy that won it last year, I think he only ate like 50 hot dogs. Because Joey Chestnut was not there, so he won. So Joey Chestnut, he reclaimed the title. Okay, so there you go. So he ate 70. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. What is the? Did he break the? He didn't break the record, right? Did he break the record too? His own record? I didn't watch it. I haven't put on the news. But when I started following it, I remember Kobayashi won it for like 5 years in a row, I think. No, okay, 76. Damn. 76. Yeah. Yeah, so Kobayashi, I remember won it, and then he finally beat Kobayashi, and then he's been winning it. And then the women, I remember the Asian woman. The woman, right? I forgot her name. She's like in 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. And Kobayashi retired. He retired. He said he had health problems. Yeah, I think they call it the Black Widow or something. I forgot. He said the Black Widow, whatever. She's Asian. I know she's like Asian looking. Look at the guy with hand. He's doing the worm. You see him on the floor. He's doing the worm. So it's Seaside Heights. Sorry. Seaside Heights. Oh, yeah, they got the arcade. Let me see. Arcade. Right there, arcade. Wildwood, I only been there once. I've been to Wildwood once. Atlantic City, I've been there quite a few times. And Seaside Heights, I've been there a couple of times. A couple of times I've been here too. It's been a while. It's been like 20 years. Over 20 years since I've been there. You've been to Point Pleasant and Wildwood a few times? Okay. Yeah, I only been to Wildwood once. Once I went there with my friend. What's a tram car? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was the guy that, he became a cop and he forgot all about me. We used to do shit like that together. Because the guy always, he didn't want to go anywhere. And I would tell him, yo, let's go, man. You got the car. Let's go down to Seaside Heights, man. Because he would always be, my girlfriend left me. I would tell him, why you crying over that BH? So I told him, man, I changed the man's life. You know? I give him back his man card. The guy was a fucking, the guy couldn't be by himself. He always needed a partner. He was always, I would tell him, yo, you single, bro. You should enjoy life, bro. That's why I don't have regrets, man. I enjoy life, man. I enjoy all this stuff. My brother, my oldest brother, may he rest in peace. He never enjoyed life like that. He was working hard. All his life, he worked hard. All his life, he worked hard. Putting in 12-hour days. Sanitation, they had like 24-hour shift when it's like snow emergency and all this shit. The guy worked hard. 3 years before he was supposed to retire, he passed out. He was hospitalized. Because of sugar. You know, diabetes. He lost his eyesight. He went blind. He didn't take care of himself. And then his kidneys started failing. Why? Because he was too much of a workaholic. He didn't enjoy life. You know, the guy, you know, he would show me his, you know, how much he was making every year. He was making over 100 a year, 100,000. I would look at him like, you making over 100,000? Have you ever taken a vacation? Have you ever went like to the Bahamas? Have you ever taken a cruise? Have you ever just went somewhere for a few days? The guy never took vacations. His vacation was staying home with his nagging common law wife. That's not a vacation. So, of course, when he got sick, he got depressed. He gave up on life. He gave up on life. He didn't want to, he cashed in his chips. And shortly after that, he died. He died. When my mom died, he died a year later. A year and a half later, he died. Because he gave up on life. You know, all that money that you earn, he spent it because his wife was spending all his money. His common law wife. That was not even his wife. This is common law wife. She was just living there. But she popped out 2 of his kids. And I would look at him like, yo, bro, if I was making what you was making, I'd be enjoying life, bro. You know, I would be like, I would go to, you know, places. You know? Fuck that shit. And he didn't do that. And, you know, 3 years before his so-called retirement, he was disabled. He couldn't walk. He lost his eyesight. He had to depend on the common law wife, which she didn't give a fuck about him. She didn't give a fuck about him. She just wanted his money. She cleaned out his bank accounts and all that. So when he needed somebody, she wasn't there. So he gave up on life. He was so afraid of being alone that he died. He died. He died broke and didn't enjoy life. And that's not me. That's not me. Fuck that shit. I did a lot of my life. I done a lot of shit that, you know what? Hey, people say you crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I've enjoyed, some things I did. You know what? I go to these places. I get on all these rides. I enjoy life, man. Life is too short to be worrying about bullshit that you can't control. Fuck that. Fucking working 12-hour days. The man will work 6 days a week. Fucking making money for what? So his common law wife spend his money? Get the fuck out of here. And I told him, if I was you, I'll kick the bitch out the house. I told him that shit. I told him, why you put up with that fucking bitch? I told him all this shit. And he looked at me like, Danny, I said, no, I was you. I said, you're not obligated to, fuck her. You're obligated to take care of her kids. Because those are your kids, right? So you know what? You just pay child support. But she has to go. Fuck that. But he couldn't fucking, I don't know, he was pussy whip or what. I don't know what the fuck happened to the man. And he fucking, it cost him his life. And I had my suspicions about her. For what I know, she probably poisoned the fucking guy over time. And his health deteriorated. Because I watch all these crime dramas. And I've seen shit like that happen. Like arsenic poisoning and all this shit. But you know what? That's what happened to him. He did it to himself. And I said to myself, that's not gonna be me. You know, I'm not making 100,000 a year. I never made 100,000 a year in my life to this day. But you know what? I'm living life in my terms. In my terms. And ain't nobody gonna stop me from living my life the way I want to live my life. Fuck that. You know? Straight up. Because you only have one life to live, bro. You don't know when your number's up. You don't know when your time to go. You don't know when you're gonna get dealt that hand where you might have a few months to live or whatever. You don't know when that card is gonna come around and or whatever. That card you're gonna get dealt with one day. You don't know. By then, I'm not gonna have no regrets. I'm gonna be like, well, if the doctor tells me and he says, you know what, you got 6 months to live, I'll say, okay, doc. Of course, I'm gonna cry and all that. I'm gonna be sad, but then I'm gonna say, you know what? I did a lot of fucking shit. I did a lot. I'm gonna say it like that. I did a lot of fucking shit. I banged a lot of fucking women in my life. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I banged a lot of fucking women in my life. Hell yeah. I have no fucking regrets, bro. You know, I went places. I fucking, had fun. I had fun. I did everything that I set out to do for the most part. I graduated college like I wanted. I served in the military. Yeah, I have a lot of good memories, bro. I have a lot of good memories. And when I see my brother when he was doing, and he was dying, I said I'm not gonna be like him, working for the city all your life, and then you're looking for your retirement. You know what I think about retirement? I see all these people do that. People work all their life. I see these TikTok videos all the time. You work all your life to save up some money to have fun later on when you're old. By then, you're so old that you can't even have fun because you're too busy going to the hospital. You're spending money on medical bills at that point. So what's the point? What's the point of saving up for, what they call retirement? Retirement for me is like you're dying. To me, that's death. You know? My wife definitely knew somebody. I knew people that retired and then shortly after they died. You know, a lot of people, believe it or not, need work or need to do some kind of hobby. Instead of just sitting home on a rocking chair waiting to die, a lot of people do that. A lot of people just sit home and sit on a recliner and watch TV all day and just no, that's the worst thing to do, bro. That's the worst thing to do. I seen, I saw like a news report. A woman was like, she's like 93 years old, and she works at a store, and she works there 5 days a week, and it's like a gift shop, and she's on her feet all day. And they ask her, "What's your secret of living long?" She say, "Work." She says, "I work, and I work, because I enjoy working." She's not doing 12 hours a day, but she enjoys working because she talks to people. She stays cognitive. because she's always adding numbers in her head, with the inventory and all that. So some people need work to live. Otherwise, they will be just home staring at the wall and waiting to die. Woman. She's a very slim woman, 93 years old, cognitive, 100% sharp. And she said, "Oh no, I have to work. That's what gets me up in the morning, and I look forward to going to work. I don't want to sit down in a rocking chair and but my brother was the opposite. My brother busted his ass and tried to accumulate money, and then the common law wife would just fucking clean his bank accounts, and he didn't fucking do shit about it. And I would tell him, because remember, Danny Finance, I would tell him, bro, you making $100,000 a year for the last 10 years, and you're not a millionaire? Or the last 20 years, you're averaging $70,000 a year, and you're not a millionaire? You don't have $1 million worth of stock and or cash? What the fuck you been doing? And that's what happened. I don't know what's going on now. I don't know if they're clearing the boardwalk now. I don't know if they're shutting everything down. Look. It looks like they're closing up some of the boardwalk, basically. Now they're trying to clean up the yeah, because 1 o'clock, right? So yeah. So yeah, it looks like everybody has to leave. Had to leave. Okay. Yeah, I guess the restaurant right here, they're still serving, but they cannot be on the boardwalk. Yeah, look. Oh yeah, look. Yeah, party's over, bro. Party's over. Yeah. So last call for drinks over here, and then they have to close up the establishment soon. So they don't want no more. And everybody has to go. That's it. Yeah, it looks clean. It looks very clean. That's it. Party's over. See, they told the guy he's telling him to stay in there. Stay in there. See, he's telling him to stay in there. You come out here, you're gonna go. Bye bye. He's telling him to stay in the establishment. You saw that, right? The guy I look like a bouncer. I guess he's like a bouncer. He's telling everybody stay in there. You can party in there, or don't come out here, or you bye bye. There's people in there. See. See, there's people in there. But they cannot wander out to the boardwalk. That's it. Boardwalk is closed. Unless you're going home. That's a big guy. So he looks like he's like the bouncer. He's cleaning. He's a cleaning guy. That's a cleaning guy. So this guy just trash. He's picking up the trash. That's why they didn't bother him, because he's working. See, he got the scooper. He's just picking up the trash. This guy. So he's like, you know, see, he got the scooper. He's just picking up trash. See. They're just picking up trash. So that's it. Boardwalk is closed. Boardwalk is closed, baby. Party's over, bro. See, all the way down there, they're sending everybody home. Yeah, over the weekend, yeah. But I think 1 o'clock is a cutoff. So 1 o'clock, that says a cutoff. It's like a curfew. When I went there 20 years ago, it wasn't like this. It was open all you could be on the boardwalk all night. Basically. And now they don't play that. They don't play that now. See that officers right there? See right there, the officer, female officers right there, and another officer. So these people got to stay in there. If they come out, yeah, I remember it got destroyed with the hurricane. Yeah, Sandy. Yeah, they rebuilt the boardwalk. I remember that. They had to rebuild it. Never mind. I thought I was a woman. No, that's a guy. That's a dude, bro. That's a dude with long hair. Okay, never mind. No tax on overtime. That's right. Exactly. It's a tax credit. Yeah, but it's still good. You know, even though it's a tax, what happens is you deduct the overtime. So what you do is, for example, when you do the W-2 next year, right? So you're gonna have that line item that's gonna say, you know, how many hours you work overtime, and then you put that in there. Yeah, they're still gonna take out. So they still take out federal income tax, exactly. But at the end of the year, you get it back. So the same thing with tips. They're still gonna take it out of your federal income tax. They're gonna take it out every paycheck. But at the end of the year, when you file your taxes, is when you get that deduction. You know, you get the credit. When they take out, it's credited. You know, same thing with Social Security. If they take out taxes, but then at the end of the year when you do your Social Security, you get that back. as you know. Basically, it's a credit. It's a credit. Yeah, it's a tax credit. So it's not like your paycheck is going to be more money. It's just going to be, you know, at the end of the year is when you get it back, when you do your taxes. These people. Oh no, those are cops. Oh, they're telling people, okay, so they're coming back now. They're sweeping back. So you get that money at the end of the year. Yeah, it's probably a helicopter. This guy over here, the guy's telling him to get back in. Watch. He's telling him, look, look. This cop is coming from the beach. I guess he went to check on the beach. This guy. So he probably went in the sand and checked. Everybody's out there in the sand. This guy got the canine. You saw the canine. That had the dog. There's a plain clothes, and that's a sweeper, cleaner. Look, it's a vacuum, whatever. It's like a street sweeper. It's cleaning the boardwalk. Yeah, street sweeper. I know. Um, I applied for sanitation. I passed the test and everything, but the fact that I didn't have a CDL license, I didn't get the job. Uh, my brother, of course, he was sanitation. A friend of mine also, he lived in the neighborhood in the block I used to live in. He wound up working for sanitation, and his cousin. They make good money. 100,000 a year starting. basically sanitation. So that's he was operating that. Street sweeper. That was his job. Alternate side parking. He just operates a street sweeper. He was making up to 100K a year, 100,000 a year. I think he finally retired sanitation. Uh, anyway, I don't have him on my Facebook and all because me and him kind of like I don't know. Like I grew up with the guy, but the guy is kind of he's kind of one of those people that go behind your back and you know, like the guy would try to hit on my girlfriend and all that shit. He's very guy, they would tell, oh, your friend tried to hit on me. I said, yeah, I know. He says, he's a dirtbag. Yeah, I got personal Facebook. That's the one I added Jill's on, and then he went all crazy on Trump. Let me give me a minute. I have a few of them, but that's one of my personal Facebook. I'm adding radio people in there and all that. So that's considered my personal Facebook. I had one that had a lot of gamers, but that one I don't use that one anymore. This is my regular personal Facebook. So I'll add you there. So I had Jill's there, but then he was posting crazy shit. Then he posted that, oh, if you voted for Trump, you should unfriend me. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you let him get to you to that point? And that's when I unfollow him, I unfriend him. Then I left the group. Then I finally unsubbed his channel. Yeah, I know that too. I know that too. I know he's been gay. Um, Let me turn on the AC. Yeah, I suspected that a long time ago because it was a few years ago. His partner, he never shows. He never shows picture of her on the live stream or all that shit. So one day I was looking at his Facebook and I saw a person that always posts a lot on his thing. And I think that's the wife. And it looks like a tran. A tran. I think that's the one that I saw. It looks like as a tran. So if he's married, it's to probably a tran. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't care. That's his business. Whatever. If you're proud of it, be proud of it. That's it. You don't have to hide it. But I suspected that he probably is. And that's fine. That's your prerogative. And then also the other one that used to be and he exactly. I said prerogative because I suspected that years ago. Because when he will mention his wife, no, he never said his wife. He never said that. By the way, I don't remember him saying his wife. He just said that he's married. But then one day, because I was gonna add him on my personal Facebook years ago, but I didn't add people on my personal Facebook for a long time. My personal Facebook until 2 years ago was only 20 people, people that I knew personally. And then about a year ago, I started opening the books. I said, let me start letting other people come in here. Because my Facebook was boring to look at. And then I finally added him a few months ago. And then when I added him, this is before Trump got elected. And then once he got elected, I saw the anti-Trump shit. And then when he got inaugurated, oh my God, he went on a meltdown. Because, Trump likes to troll. Especially when he says the 51st state and all that shit. He likes to troll. That's what he does. This guy really took it to the next level with the Trump derangement syndrome. Then he posted that shit about he's an imbecile and people that have voted for him are morons. How could you vote for him? And if you voted for him, you should just unfriend me on all your social media. That's what he posted. And when he posted, I said, you know what? Fuck you. I'm done. Fuck your Trump derangement syndrome shit. I don't got time for that shit. Fuck that. I don't know. I don't know about that either. I don't know. Because he never done. The one thing. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, it's only me and you anyway. I don't care. I done tutorial videos where I walk through people step by step. He's not. I haven't seen videos. I don't remember him doing videos like that. Like step by step, how to set up something. Like he doesn't do videos like that. I noticed he doesn't do a lot of editing. A lot of his videos, he just shoots the video and that's it. He doesn't do editing and all that. He doesn't, I done videos where I done like, if you look at my crypto videos, some of them are very, step by step shit. Like the one I did on the radio, the firmware. Like those are tutorial videos. He just does news. Exactly. Anybody can do that. Okay? Anybody can read articles. That's what he does. I can do that. That doesn't take much editing or even skill. Try to do tutorial videos where you have to, do this. And even on Danny product review, I got a video that has 5,000 views and it's a chair. They're just putting together an office chair. But I got 5,000 views on that video. You know why? Read the comments. Oh my God! Without this video, I would have never assembled this. I don't have the instructions of this chair, but I followed your video, and you're very thorough, and I was able to put this chair together. Thank you very much. I've done videos like that. I've done many videos like that in other channels. Yeah, the unclogging sink. There you go. Videos like that, And you would think that's something so, but I done videos like that. He never done stuff like that. And that's why after a while I was like, okay, this is bullshit. Like I kind of caught on to the routine. So his tech video is not like how to install, like he doesn't go through how to install this, how to troubleshoot this thing. All he talks about is news or updates. You know, especially my crypto videos. Some of them are very complicated but thorough. You know, like when there was one that you had to get Binance from another wallet. So I break it down. It's like a 30-minute video almost. You gotta buy crypto from Coinbase. Then you gotta transfer the coin to your wallet. Then from your software wallet, you gotta transfer it to an outside unregulated exchange. Then you take that crypto, you swap it for another crypto that's banned in New York. Then you switch that crypto back to your wallet, and there you go. I've done videos like that where people say, man, because of your video, I got Binance on my wallet. Thank you very much. You know, he doesn't do videos like that. Can't do it. He's never done videos like that, believe me. So, yeah, anyway, I suspected that he was, and that's his prerogative. I don't care. You know, what I don't like is when you start alienating other voters. I'm sorry, you know. You know, you watch the CNN and that's what you believe in, and you think that everybody's trying to ban, you know, gay people. And all that. Come on, wow, stop with that. I'm about to order some copper and go back. I order more copper. It should be here. It should be here any day. I bought it from eBay though. This copper. I ordered copper, 2 copper coins, and a couple of bars. Is it 3 bars? 3 copper bars. I ordered 5 ounces total. So it's 1 copper. It's a Canadian coin, but copper. They're all, of course, pure copper. One of them is a Saint, some kind of coin. It's like a Liberty coin. Then the other 3 are bars. They're bars. Like the Buffalo copper bar. But there are other ones. One is a Ben Franklin. One is a Grover Cleveland. And the other one is some kind of, I forget what it is. Let me check. It's on eBay. I can show you that. Let me see. Let me go. Let me go here. Let me put eBay. They're on their way. They should be here. They'll probably be here by Monday. I don't know. Let me see. Purchase history. I'll show you. I'll show you. Let me show you below. Now you can see it. I should have put it up here. You don't want me to put it up here. Let me just put it up here. It's a bigger screen anyway. Give me a minute. Sorry. I should have messed around with the camera. So I messed around with the camera. Let me see. Hold up. Now I can just drag it over here. No, I don't watch any of those channels. Let me drag on the eBay page right here. So those are the ones right there. Let me go back here. Yeah, so I got this one. I paid total $14.22 for these. So this one is a 1 ounce copper round St. Gordon's. And then this one is a 1 ounce copper bar St. Gordon's. And then this one is an Indian Chief Note, 1 ounce copper. And then this one is a Cleveland Note, Grover Cleveland Note. And then this one is copper around the Maple Leaf, Canada. So I ordered these 5 from eBay. So they should be here hopefully by Monday or sometime next week. Because they ship these and then they'll put the tracking on it. So I don't know. I don't know where they're at right now. So I just ordered these. This was an Amazon payment they sent me the other day, so I used that money to buy these. It was like $14 and change. $14.22 for all 5 of them. This one they're just showing sorry. This one they're just showing both sides. Yeah, I looked into it. I was gonna buy one a few months ago. But then I started looking at the model and it's not, it was a bullshit model. It was on sale. So I was gonna buy one. Sometime in the future I will buy one because I always wanted to buy one. I always wanted to have one, especially when I travel. Like if I go to Atlantic City or one of these places and I stay over there early in the morning, I can go down by the beach. And I always used to look at those people that did that. Because I would wake up early and go to the boardwalk and walk down by the beach, and I would see those people there. And I was like, man, that looks cool. Like a nice activity to walk, do some walking, and you do digging, and you sift it. You sift the sand and see if you find something of value. So yeah, I always thought about getting one. Eventually, I'm gonna get one. So yeah, I thought about it. And like I said a few months ago, I was very close to buying one. But then I started reviewing it more and more, and I was like, okay, even though it was on sale, I think it was like $75 or something. But then I started reading up on it, and I saw the reviews on it and said, nah, don't get this one because this one is so it was like a beginner one, entry level one. So I'm not gonna buy that one. So later on, if I do get one, it'll be like not the cheapest one. Because those are just a waste of money. So probably over $150 range. That's where you get the better ones. The ones you see for like, because the one that was on set was like $70, and I was like, oh man, $70, okay. But then when I went down that rabbit hole and I started reading up on that particular model. They were saying don't buy it. It's a waste of money. You're gonna get a lot of false readings on it. It's not that sensitive. And I said, you know what? I didn't buy it. I didn't pull the trigger on that one. There's another model that comes after that one, and that one is like $130 or something. They said that model was better. So yeah. Yeah, this one yeah, exactly. You need the ones that can tell the difference between metals, exactly. So the one that was on sale was like an entry level one. It doesn't tell you like what type of metal or something like that. And you end up like in his case, he was demonstrating the cheap one, and he did okay with it. It was a YouTube. I forgot who it was. He was demonstrating the cheap one, and he compared to that one to the other one, it wasn't even close. Like he was picking up bottle caps with the cheap one. Like he wanted to picking a whole bunch of bottle caps and shit like that. So so when I saw that video, I said, nah, I'm not buying this one. Forget about that. I don't want that shit. So it's better to spend the extra money and get a better one. Spend the extra money, get a better one that I can at least. It kind of can. There's one that can kind of tell between the difference between. Okay, this is junk, and this is more of precious metal. There's some that actually can kind of tell the difference. So I said, nah, I'd rather wait till uh not really. Yeah, I looked at the house, I looked at the record. Like who owned the house before me, before the previous owner. It goes back to 1911. That I looked up. So this house had about 5 owners. We're like the 5th owner right now. The original owner had this house from when it was built 1911. Not 1911. The house was built in 1911, but nobody owned the house until I think the house was built, but nobody lived in it for another. It was a while, about 10 years. Finally, somebody bought it, and then from 1920 all the way to about 1950, one person lived in this house for over 30 plus years. And I think this house, the original value was $10,000. And then in the 1950s, somebody bought this house for about 25,000, something like that, if I remember. And then from the 50s, it went to the late 60s, and somebody bought the house for about 30,000 or 40,000, I forgot. Then from the 60s, it went all the way up to the 80s. And I think somebody, again, in the 80s, might have been 45,000 or 40, almost 50,000 in the early 80s. And then somebody had from the 80s all the way up to the 90s. And the house went from 50,000 to about 100,000 or 80, 90,000. I forgot the hell. Probably about 100,000 in the late 90s. I mean, in the mid 90s. Or the early 90s, excuse me, early 90s. 100,000. And then from there to 2001, her sister bought the house from them. And this house was 200,000 back in 2000. 2000, in the year 2000, this house was 200,000. That was the price. I believe 200 and might have been 210,000. No, believe me, I checked all over. I checked every nook and cranny, believe me. And so now, according to Zillow and a couple of other websites, this house is valued about 516,000 now. 500K. Everything here skyrocketed. So we could sell this house for. We had an offer for 420K back in 2004, 2005. She had an offer for 420K for this house back then. So this house doubled in value and then some. So this house conceivably you could sell it for 500. Maybe realistically about 450. The house across the street, he's selling it for 600. The one across the street. The other house across the street is 475, whatever. All the median price of all these houses went up a lot. This house is down the block that almost 700K. Everything skyrocketed over here, especially after the pandemic. A lot of people left. Oh, he's sending this guy back. There you go. He's telling him go around. Yeah. Well, this has been remodeled a few times. The original house did not have the addition. This house looks like they added a few additions over the years. Yeah, this house still has a few plaster walls. The second floor has plaster walls. All the rooms have plaster walls. The kitchen has plaster walls upstairs. The first floor is the living room, has plaster walls, and the kitchen and the bedroom. The bathroom is an addition. And that's all an addition. Originally, this was a one-family house. One-family house. But it was eventually converted into a two-family house in this house. So originally, when it was built, it just was a one-family house. In other words, one bathroom, one kitchen. I think it was 2 bedrooms. One big living room. So now it's, yeah, not this house. This house. Well, this house was built in 1920. I said 1911. I mean 1924. Excuse me. The house in the Bronx was built in 1911. I keep getting confused. That house, when we moved in, there was a lot of old stuff. That one had pizza oven, an old pizza oven. That one had commercial washer and dryer in the basement. That one had a whole bunch of store stuff. But that one, my brother, when he bought it, my oldest brother, that's the one that he passed away. When he bought that house, the guy that owned it was connected. I guess he had mafia ties. And he needed to leave fast. He needed to leave. So my brother offered him cash. So that house in 1979, he bought that house for, I think it might have been a total of $20,000. So he gave him 10,000 cash. And then the other 10,000, he paid him off in a couple of years. He kept sending him cash. It was a cash sale. It was a cash sale. But the guy left. He had to leave. I don't know what happened for him. This one, yeah, except for a couple of rooms that I think, well, the second floor had the original one. That's all now changed. Now it's all aluminum wiring now, or what they call armor cable. Armor cable, excuse me, armor cable. They call it BX cable. It's armor cable. But there's a couple of rooms in the house that they still have the other wire. Like when you walk into my house, that first light bulb that's right there in the entrance, that wiring up there is actually the original wiring. So it works fine, and we'll leave it there until when it finally and then we'll change it. But it's only like the one light bulb in the front, because that one actually had a small chandelier, old one, and I took it down a few years ago. And when I took it down, the wire that was coming down on it disintegrated. It was that old it's copper wire, but it has like a cloth covering it, and that cloth disintegrated when I touched it. Yeah. Wow. 500-watt bulb. My God. In the garage, and it lasted 44 years. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know they make bulbs that big. 500 watt. Hmm. Some of the walls, though, here, actually, I come think of it, there was a couple of walls that I did knock down, and there was a little hidden compartment space, but it only had old newspapers. There was nothing in there. Like, I have a pantry down here. I call it the pantry. That used to be a closet, because this basement was a finished basement. But now I knocked down some of those walls, and I found stuff in there, like old newspapers I was used for. I guess they use it for wadding, for stuffing, stuffing the wall. So there was a couple of them that I found old newspapers, but that was it. Nothing else. I didn't find nothing else. Nothing like you know. Yeah, this one I have old. Some of the outlets looked old, but they're no longer connected. I had a couple of outlets that were old. The old outlets, it's like two prong. They're not grounded outlets. They're like old two prong. You can tell these outlets are from the you know World War II, pre World War II. They're old, very old out, but they're not connected anymore. They're just still in the wall. There was one or two that was in the rooms upstairs. I yeah. Also, I have one basement door that has a skeleton key. The basement door is a side door for the basement. That one has a skeleton key. But we don't have that key no more. I think she lost it. It still has that lock with that you put a skeleton key in. So it's a door that goes down to the basement, the original door. Since then, we made a secondary door that goes down to the basement that connects from the kitchen to the basement. That's the door that I come down through all the time. But there's another door that's like a little side door. It's a smaller door, and that one has the original door handle. It's an odd shaped door. It's not even a standard door. It's a very small door, and it has a weird shape. And the doorknobs, they do have the doorknobs are the glass doorknobs. Yeah. And then the key, you could tell the lock is a skeleton key. And she had the key for a while, but then she lost it a few years ago. So now that door I lock it from the inside with a latch because we don't have the skeleton key anymore. She lost it. So now that door I just lock it from the inside with a latch. With one of those latch locks. What they call it? It's like a latch. You pull it, and then you lock the door from the inside. That's it. And one day I'll do like a tour of the house. I'll make a video on the tour of the house. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off now. I've been on for 3 hours and 22 minutes. That's a nice long live stream. It's gonna be 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna have another beer or two, and then I'm gonna go to bed. I'm just gonna put on the radio and listen to a little radio inside here. The fireworks. I don't hear no more fireworks outside, so I was thinking about even going to the backyard. Maybe I'll listen to the radio out there. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll go outside for a few. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. 3 hours. That's a good live stream. Adding to the watch hours. Danny Finance right now. It's when I started doing before the live streams, I was at 170 watch hours. I checked it yesterday. I think I was over 215 watch hours. I got a long way to go. So, all these live streams, they add up. At this rate, it'll probably take me a year to get to that magic number of 4,000. But I'm going to be doing simulcast too on my other computer. So, but I probably won't do that for another few weeks or so. So stay tuned for that. All right. Take care, my friend, and have a great weekend. And have a good night. Have a great day. Take care, James.